Hello, this is Lopan Udrin coming to you from Ngakchang Gatsel, the Happy Garden of Practitioners in Oakland, California. Welcome. Um, I'm just heading out to the country for some time for R&R and meditation. I hope you're getting out in nature during these difficult times to reboot. Um, I want to use this opportunity to kind of summarize what I've been saying in these last 68 episodes and give you a holistic picture of what my message to the world is, um, and how it can benefit you. So um, the truth is that our lifetimes are like infinite passages extending through time. While there is no real soul or identity that passes from life to life, um, the patterning of our consciousness does go on, and with it, always the capacity to recognize um, a sense of luminous, open presence, or in other words, to recognize the nature of our mind and the empty nature of ourselves and all external things that we perceive as we perceive them. So, um, our project in life is to learn to abide in this ever present, ever fresh recognition of the way things truly are, so that we can carry on infinitely and benefit all living beings, particularly those ones who haven't had experienced the same recognition from now until forever. So, um, we can learn in this very life to always be in a state of wide awake, um, free and translucent presence in this very body, apparent, not that non truly existent. In a poised state of sort of omnipresent, panoramic, and free knowledge, awareness of our own true nature. And however, we have to start where we are. As Pema Chodron, the Buddhist teacher, said many decades ago in her book called Start Where We Are, which was very influential. So, in order to access, our inner nature, we have to learn. We have to train in, really, not following after all the wild and woolly thoughts and concepts and formations and emotions that are running through our heads and our hearts, but to find the sky-like nature behind the clouds. Many people say this. This isn't like original. Thousands of people have said this. In order to do that, starting from a ground where we are occluded, veiled, clouded with all this busyness, in the constant need to do and make and do, which all of us have, and to reaffirm our sense of identity, which is truly can't be found if you go searching for it. Because we're very enveloped in training in this going after what we want, avoiding what we don't want. It's very hard to get there from that point to a point of ever-present clarity. I'm not there in ever-present clarity. And I've trained for about 30 years. What year is this? I'm uncertain when I started, about 1993. But it's a lot better. I'm just going to say to give you hope. And the way we do that in the Buddhist tradition that I have trained in, called the Dujum Tirsar tradition of the Nyingma school of Tibetan Buddhism, is beginning with the foundational practices called the Ngundro. Ngun means what goes before. Nun means before, and Dro means going. So it literally means what goes before. So it's a preliminary practice to everything else you do. But in a sense, it's the foundation, and most people keep doing the foundational practices from when they start in Vajrayana Buddhism. Vajrayana is the broader category to which this kind of Buddhism belongs, on to the passing. In fact, I saw Lama Pema Dorje Rinpoche, one of my teachers, at the very end of his life. The last practice he was doing was Ngundro, foundational practices. So I want to say a word about them, and because for me, they've been incredibly transformational, including in a worldly sense of just being happier, less depressed, less anxious. Because as soon as you clear away all this cloudy layer upon layer of thinking and making concepts and opinions about everything, I'll let you know a secret: you're happier. It's true. Unless you have some really, really entrenched mental illness, it doesn't allow you, which probably wouldn't allow you to sit and practice for a half hour or an hour each day anyway. It's really going to lift you up. And many of you already do foundational practices in another tradition, and beautiful. I just kind of want to give a shout out about our tradition. So you start by grabbing hold of this bigger picture instead of being wrapped up into momentarily likes and dislikes. Looking at the long view over lifetime after lifetime. Where are we going? What's our goal? And shaping things. But first of all, saying, I want to pay attention to this way out here. I can't make my arms go in the camera. way out, as far as the arms go. And not this little tunnel vision that we have from day to day. And there's 4 contemplations that open your mind and reframe things in terms of the big picture. And that itself brings a lot of space into the situation, so you feel less claustrophobic and paranoid about, even though it might sound gloomy to, for example, contemplate how everything's impermanent. That's one of the contemplations. It really is very freeing not to have false expectations about what's going to happen to you in your life, because it's a lie that things are permanent and not going to change, right? It's a lie that things are just going to get evenly better and better. Your circumstances are always going to improve. And yet we always strive as though we can shape these things. We can to some degree. But the truth is that anything can happen at any time. And getting comfortable to that is key to the foundation of a spiritual practice, but also to being happy and content. You have to learn how to ride the waves, to surf. And then secondly, really deciding on the main point that we're Buddhists. We're taking refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. In our tradition, these are embodied in the Guru Padmasambhava Guru Rinpoche, but also in Guru Rinpoche and Yeshe Sugya and consort together, even if Guru Rinpoche is visualized as the main source of refuge, with no apparent consort or Sherab Prajna, wisdom aspect. He has in his crook of his arm a wisdom staff called the Katvanga that, pardon my pronunciation, Tibetans, that has a trident on the end of it. And in all the symbolism of this staff is, it's said that his main consort, Yeshe Sugya, is is embodied in the staff. So it's kind of a hidden. There's a hidden consort there in every visualization in the Nyingma school. It's always Guru and Dakini together, one way or another, for our Ngundro practice. So we take refuge in Guru Rinpoche as the embodiment of Guru Yidam, our meditational deities, the Dakini, and the Lama all in one. And so we take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and Sangha, all symbolically represented in the presentation of Guru Rinpoche as the ultimate master of all Dharma practices, all Dharma teachings. Isn't that beautiful? And then we spread out our awareness to be aware of all living beings, to really bring them into our heart and consider that we are ultimately going to benefit them infinitely. Of course, we're going to be kind and compassionate and loving people in this very life, but ultimately we will, through the practice of Vajrayana, wake up completely and really, really be able to benefit so many countless beings infinitely. So we touch base with that, with practices related to the precious bodhicitta, the awakening mind. And then we do a purification practice for getting rid of all the negativity and negative patterning that we've gained through countless lives before this, and really setting out fresh in this life with a new direction, with a completely pure motivation, only beneficial, never harming. And then we generate incredible positive energy, positive momentum in a practice called mandala offerings, which is basically offering everything to our, what would they say in our English language world, our higher selves, our inner Guru Rinpoche, inner mastery, the guiding principle. We offer everything to the sources of refuge that we visualize in front. And then we merge our minds with the wisdom mind of Guru Rinpoche, who embodies not only all the aforementioned elements, but also connects us to lineage, to a thread of enlightened masters who have passed on from guru to disciple, teacher to student, generation after generations for thousands of years. The precious Buddha Dharma. So if you're not already doing a Ngundro practice, I feel right now, at this time, instead of doing all kinds of activity practices as much, that still may be the focus. Do whatever your Lama says. That still may be the focus. We're in different places in the pandemic, at different places in the world. But here in the States, we're kind of entering into recovery mode. We're feeling the grief of a lost year, of lost loved ones. So we're healing, really. And we're setting our direction and our intention for the rest of our lives and future lives. I feel Ngundro practice is the most important thing right now. And that doesn't necessarily mean if you're an old-timey Vajrayana practitioner, you have a picture about Ngundro practice. So doing a lot is very Tibetan, beautiful Tibetan tradition is very exertional. And your physical body, really literally throwing yourself into it. Lots and lots of fast repetitions, very energetic. Right now, things may be more subdued. And we may just be able to, if you're into that, if you're able to do that right now, it's perfect. But most of us perhaps are a little more grieving, low energy. And you can just sing your way through your foundational practices now. And try to cultivate relaxation and a sense of kindness to yourself. Remember in your bodhicitta practice yourself. Remember that don't leave yourself out of all sentient beings, that you are practicing compassion and love for. That's my hard advice. If you've never learned the foundational practices, or if you want to, I've addressed the Khandro Tukdik revealed treasure of Dujum Rinpoche, Jugdu Yeshe Dorje. In previous videos, you can look around them. The Dakini Heart Essence. And that is an Ngondro that I teach these days. And if you want to come learn them with me, we're going to do it very gently. It's very peaceful and joyful visualization, singing, mantra recitation, a very beautiful visualization, very relaxing. There's a word in it, Nyelso. Nyelso, according to the dictionary, it means like refreshing, renewing. What's the other word? Well, there's a lot of re's there. What it means is restoring, huh? Restoring. And sometimes they'll say in other contexts, relaxing or making ease. So there's, in this particular one, there's a flavor of restoring our worldly happiness. It says so right in the title of the Ngondro, which is in English could be translated as refreshing happiness and exaltation. So in that English, there's many translations of this. I would say, our worldly happiness needs to be refreshed. And then our ultimate happiness, or our long-term, and maybe now, who knows, a sense of spiritual joy or exaltation. That needs to be rekindled, right? And, you may be one of those unusual people, I know one or two, who just thrived in this last year with having, because they were in a fairly protected environment, in a good neighborhood, and they just thrived in being cloistered without having planned on being cloistered, yet they were able to adapt and use it as an environment for practice. I didn't choose to do that with my year. I chose to really keep in touch with what was going on in the world. I live in a neighborhood that was profoundly hurt, profoundly injured by this pandemic. I live in a majority people here are Latino, service workers, and some Asian people. When we know what's happening with that, and then some white people, some mixed neighborhood here, and that's beautiful. So most people had to go out and work, and many people got COVID in their service jobs, working in the restaurant, working in stores, and there's a lot of laborers and tradespeople in this neighborhood. Many died. So, I try not to dwell on the negative anymore. When I started out this topic, Worlds on Fire, I was talking mainly about global warming, and it's all related, You may have noticed in the last while, I haven't really touched in too deeply on the Worlds on Fire aspect of the crisis we're in, because we all know the crisis we're in now, and we don't need re-traumatizing. But I just need to mention, I started out, a year and a half ago or something with this series, trying to bring attention and to what we knew inside. We all know inside the world is changing, the environment is changing, the planet is changing. But we need, like the Buddha taught, with really tuning into the hard parts. When the Buddha left his palace the first time, his parents tried to protect him, but he snuck out, as the story goes, and he saw, sick person, old person, etc., birthing. He saw all these hard, painful aspects of reality, and he decided not to turn away, but to look right at them, and that, I feel, is my path right now, and if you're with me on that, we do need restoration and healing ourselves, even if we haven't been. I've been very protected from the disease and the outward hardship, poverty, and so forth. But I had to be mostly alone for the last year, without a plan to be mostly alone. I've done solo retreats. There's for a year before, but that was intentional, and I knew I had the support of my wisdom lama. So this is a different animal, and I would invite you, if you like, to join with me, and we can do our foundational practices from this Dakini Heart Essence Treasure Cycle of Dujin Rinpoche's together for 6 weeks. I'm making the session super short on Zoom. We used to, when I was coming up, the longer the teacher went on, the better. You felt like you were getting more value out of the situation. If the teacher talked for 3 hours, it would be like, wow, we got every single detail. But now, dealing with this online environment, our short attention spans, and the trauma that we've been experiencing, I notice, even for me, I need to keep things under an hour. So 45 minutes, half practice together, singing in English beautifully, relaxing, and then half I will actually talk. And you can get to know some other people who are doing this practice. We can do it together. All right, so that's my talk for today. And I hope you're doing okay, everybody. I really support you. If you need anything, you let me know, okay? Take care now. Bye-bye.